now available in paperback and e-readers. Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online bookstores everywhere today. One of my viewers sent me an email telling me about how teachers and medical professionals try to steer black people towards getting Social Security disability benefits, or SSI, at an early age. And this is something that I experienced when I was a young boy, when I was about 8 years old. Now, when I was 7 years old, I had a brain aneurysm, and after I had that brain aneurysm and I went to school, people were trying to say that I had some sort of disability. And they were trying to goad my mother into going to get supplemental security income disability benefits for me, but she refused to do that because she knew that once you get put into the system with that stigma, you won't be able to go out here and build a life for yourself. And I believe that a lot of people in the education and medical professions, they deliberately try to go out here and steer young black boys and young black girls towards the road to Social Security disability in an effort to try to keep them from competing in the job market. And some parents go out here and buy into this whole narrative because they're thinking about getting that disability check and those benefits from the government. But what most parents don't know is that once you put your kids on that road, you wind up doing damage to them for the rest of their lives. Because once you put your kids down the road to being labeled disabled, what happens to those kids is they never make any sort of effort towards actualizing their potential. And that's what white supremacy really wants to do with black children, is stop them from actualizing their potential before they ever grow into adulthood. So they don't really want the black children to go out here and become achievers and rise to a level of excellence. So they try to find a way to stifle that child's growth at an early age, and what they do is they try to persuade their parents that there's something wrong with their children, and they try to use these disabilities and the parents' greed as a way to get the child taken out of the economic system before they can go out here and actualize their potential. So what they do is to have the teachers, especially the white female teachers, tell you, oh, there's something wrong with your child, that they have some sort of disability, and then they go out here and start having you work down the road towards becoming on this Social Security or SSI disability system. And because many parents are caught up in their greed at getting a free check from the government, what they do is go along with this to get the free money, not knowing it's going to cost your child a lot more in the future. And what it's going to cost your child in the future is a chance at actualizing their potential, actualizing their abilities, and being the best person they can be. And that's something my mother understood back when I was recovering from my brain aneurysm, and she would not allow anybody to put that stigma on me because she understood what that stigma would do. Now, as somebody who has, again, dealt with this at an age of 8, I know that what people will do once they start putting those labels on you of special and slow and retarded is they will try to exclude you from situations that would allow you to grow and develop your potential. So it makes it where people start to see you as less than, and even worse, you start to see yourself as less than. And when you start seeing yourself as less than, you stop trying in school, you stop trying to work hard, and you stop trying to persevere, and instead you allow yourself to fall into a box where you're not even making any sort of effort to do anything, and you're just sitting there being existing, and you never really live. So what happens when they put those labels of retarded or disabled on you is you wind up never really wanting to do anything. And then even worse, the social stigma of those labels is other kids start to ostracize you. Other kids don't want anything to do with you. And this also impedes your child's social development. So your child's ability to develop and grow get impeded. And instead of your child growing and thriving, they're sitting there never thinking about going to aspire to a higher level, never thinking about trying to do their best, and never really people expecting better of them, because once people put those labels of mentally disabled on you, or say that you have something like you're mentally retarded, or you have Asperger's, or you have some sort of autistic disability, many of those teachers never really push you to do better or try harder. No, they just push you off to the side and practically ignore you. And then as you're getting ignored and marginalized in school, you're falling by the wayside. And as you grow older, people just push you through school. And then once you become an adult, you wind up becoming lost. And that's what happens to a lot of people who buy into the whole Social Security SSI narrative, is they wind up becoming lost when they become adults, because after their parents get all of the money and then these children grow up into adulthood, they have no ability, understanding of how to navigate the world as an adult. So you have a child out here, yes, they're collecting a check, but they don't really know how to do anything for themselves, because nobody prepared that child for the real world, and nobody expected better of that child. And usually what happens to a lot of black children who are like this is they get wind up either homeless, or they get caught up in the Section 8 system. So they wind up stranded in a world where they go nowhere. And as they're stranded in that world where they go nowhere, they never really aspire to do any better. And what's really sad is a lot of these kids, yes, they have some sort of either behavioral issue or personal issue, but they could do better and be better, but nobody expects better. And if you don't expect better from your children, you're never going to get better from those children. And I thank God I had a mother who expected better of me than collecting some government check, and saw more of a value in me than a check for $500 or $600 in the 80s. Because while the money was tempting, she understood that I had to go out into the world one day, and I had to go out here and be a man. And a man has to understand how to function in the world, and he's not going to be able to function unless you have faith in that man to go out here and be his very best. And if you don't expect better of him, he won't expect better of himself, and he won't try to aspire to do better. And that's what I always tried to do whenever I would run into teachers who thought I was slow, classmates who thought I was retarded, classmates who thought I was less than. That always made me want to push to do better. It always made me push to try harder, and it always made me push to excel. And that's what people don't really want to do for black children. They would rather buy into ideas by white supremacists to say, oh, there's something wrong with your child. And when they say that, they're doing that to eliminate that child from the marketplace and keep them from competing with their children. So they don't want your children to compete with white children, and what they want to do is find a way to get you to eliminate your children, and they will pay you to take your children out of those circles, and they'll pay you handsomely to go out here and take your kids out. But that's small change compared to what they could receive if they go out here and push themselves to achieve something greater. Now, even after I graduated college, I still was dealing with family members telling me that I should go out here and apply for these type of disability, but I refuse to go along with those narratives because I am not a victim. There's nothing wrong with me, and I just keep persevering and pushing because for me, this is about saying that I want to achieve some success in life, and for me to take that government check is the ultimate statement of failure, and it says that I didn't really want to try at all. So that's why I don't really like it when people say, oh, you should just go collect an SSI check or go get disability, because as if I'm able enough to go out here and graduate college and get a degree in business, and if I'm able enough to go out here and start my own publishing house like the SJS Direct Imprint and write over 75 books, then what is wrong with me? That's the critical question I have to ask to those who want to say that I'm so disabled. If I can go out here and accomplish all of these things, then what do you say is wrong with me? Because it's looking like I'm getting things done, and looking like I'm out here and I'm capable of competing, and it's looking like I'm out here and putting in that work. And the things that I do is all about not allowing other people to tell me that I'm a victim, and when I know that God can make me into a victor if I go out here and have the faith to go out here and put in that work. If I have that faith to put in that work, I can achieve great things. So I know that there's more for me out here, and I know that there's more for you out here. And don't let anybody put your kids on that SSI, Social Security road, because you can do better than taking that small change. Because if you take that small change, you're going to make a change in your life that leads to you winding up in a ghetto, stranded, going nowhere, and practically missing out on the very best in life. So you're going to miss out on all the things you could have gone out here and accomplished, and people are going to be sitting there laughing at you because you're going to throw your life away because somebody said something was wrong with you. But you can't listen to those people. You have to know that you can do greater than what they say, and that's something that has again always pushed me ever since I was a little boy. After I had that brain aneurysm, I always said that I could do better, and I always pushed myself to do better, and I always pushed myself to always go out here and try to be my very best. I never settled for what people wanted to give me. I always believed I could do better, and that's what you have to say to yourself, young black man and young black woman. There's no disability. You are able and capable of doing far more great things out here, and all you have to do is persevere and apply for yourself, and you will wind up doing far better than waiting for some check at the first of the month and having to deal with recertification specialists who tell you have to take part of your money to notarize all of these documents in order to keep an apartment in a bad part of town, and you have to sit there and have these people going through your apartment inspecting it. I mean, you can have a greater freedom, and you can do that if you trust in God. And that's one of the reasons why, again, I think about this whole Social Security narrative that they try to push on black people, and it's a way of taking away the potential of our best and brightest before they can even come out here at an early age. And it's something that sadly is done all the time that winds up destroying the lives of many young brothers and sisters before they get a chance to come out here and show the world what they can do out here. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to try some of my positive African American fiction, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.